All right. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. We are on day 27 of the Financial Strategy Bootcamp. If you don't know who I am, my name is Angelise Prince. I am a child of God, a serial entrepreneur, and the founder and finance manager of Galatians Bookkeeping. Here at Galatians Bookkeeping, we help entrepreneurs get back to the work that they love through faithful stewardship and by organizing their finances. We started over 3 years ago by God's grace. And since that time, He's allowed us to be able to manage over $10 million in gross revenue. And so we are here every single weekday, Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until October 25th, which is the last day of the boot camp. Now, this live that you're watching right now is pre-recorded, so I did record this a little bit earlier, and you might see a lot of our videos this week will be pre-recorded just to make sure that you have the information that you need at the time that you need it, so that all is good there. Okay, but we are meeting Monday through Friday every single weekday until October 25th, and you will have the information by God's grace that you need by 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so one thing that I do want to let you know before we get started is that we have, during this boot camp, launched what we call the cohort, which is our financial community for entrepreneurs who are ready to get clear on their finances. We meet bi-monthly or bi-weekly, however you want to say it. So on the first and third Thursdays of every single month, we meet and we talk about financial strategies that are there to help you grow your business. Okay. And so a lot of entrepreneurs are managing money themselves. Maybe they have a little spreadsheet to the side that they're kind of looking at things and seeing how things are going in terms of the business. But yet and still, you might find that you're still in this constant loop of, money coming in, money going out, and you not having any recollection of where it's going where it's going and how it's being organized and how it's being stewarded. Yes, I guess that's the word. And so within the cohort, we have coaching, community, and strategy, all with God at the center. And so you can get access to this community by going to galatiansbookkeeping.com/cohort. Again, that website is galatiansbookkeeping.com/cohort. You should have the link down below in the description. Again, that website is galatiansbookkeeping.com/cohort. Okay. And so throughout this bootcamp, what I want to say, and really just in general, we talk about a myriad of things in this bootcamp. I talk about a myriad of things within our content, the content that we share, right? We talk about sales, operations, marketing, and accounting as it relates to the 4 core areas of your business and how your finances need to be organized in all of those areas. And though we talk about all these things, please do not ever think that we should not be praying for our business. That should be the first and foremost thing that we always do, is pray for our business. Because if we're not praying for our business as the leader in our business, who is, right? And, we don't want to get into a place where we think that it is our hand and that it is our work that is bringing in wealth or generating wealth. And I think that's sometimes why we see a lot of burnout and why we see a lot of just frustration and stress, because we're trying to hold up something that was never ours to hold up in the first place. And so let it be us, let it be this generation of entrepreneurs and CEOs that are going to honor God and come before God humbly and say, you know what, Lord, I want to honor you with what you have given me, with this influence, with this wealth, with the power that you've given me. And I want to give it back to you and dedicate it back to you and ask, how do you want me to use what it is that, you've given me? All right. So we always want to come before God in prayer. And so that is actually fitting for our topic today, as we're talking about, what does it look like to surrender your business and your business goals back to Jesus? One of the scriptures that we always talk about is Psalm 127, verse 1, which is, unless the Lord builds the house, the laborers build it in vain. And that, I believe, goes, or as I say that scripture, that goes in tandem with Proverbs 13:11, which says that wealth gained by vanity diminishes. And so again, if you have Psalm 127 verse 1 saying, unless the Lord builds the house, the laborers build it in vain. If you're building something in vain, and then on the other hand, wealth gained by vanity diminishes, then you can see what the trajectory is going to look like if that is the way that, a CEO or an entrepreneur decides to go in, right? It doesn't matter how many millions or billions or several, 6 figures the business is. It doesn't matter how secure the client is. It doesn't matter how many customers you're getting in. It doesn't matter how strong the marketing strategy is. unless the Lord builds the house, the laborers build it in vain. And so what I want us to talk about is, what does it look like for us to surrender our business goals to Jesus? Okay. What are some practical things that we can be thinking about? And so number one is, we can be thinking about, what is the end result, right? So what is the end result? After you do all the things in your business, after you reach the goal, after you make the millions, after you get the thousands of clients, what is the end result? Will you be glorified? Will everybody look at you and say, oh my gosh, you did such a great job, and you were such a great entrepreneur, and you did all these amazing things, and yada, 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 right? Or will they be inspired to say, you know what? God did this. This was a God move. God gets glory out of this business. God is exalted. God is glorified in this business, which will be glorified. You are God, right? And so I think that's one of the things that we can be thinking about as relates to, what does it look like to surrender our business and our business goals back to Jesus? Who is being glorified here? What is the whole purpose of what we're doing? Let's think big picture. All right, so that's number one. Number two, and this is it. I mean, we're going to be in and out. It's going to be smooth sailing from, I pray, here on out. And so the number two thing that you could be thinking about is, pray before you profit. We just talked about this. And so if we're surrendering everything to Jesus, if we're surrendering everything to God, we can say, Lord, how can I serve you today? Everything that I have is yours. Lord, I give you everything. How can I be of service to you? How can I be pure in heart? How can I be a person who desires righteousness, right? I was listening to the morning prayer call that I'm a part of this morning, and that's what we were talking about, is the Beatitudes of Jesus, what he declared, those who are blessed, those who have a purity of heart, right? So how can we be that? How can we go deeper with God? Now that we've already talked about deliverance, we've talked about being set free, we talked about what it means to come back to our first love, which is God. But now what do we do? How do we go deeper? And so as CEOs and as entrepreneurs, I believe we have the opportunity to pray before we profit. And I believe that can look like us saying, Lord, how can I serve you today? Instead of worrying about, oh, the business isn't doing this or the business isn't doing that. No, God, you have given me the ability to have health in my body. You've given me the ability to be in my right mind. How can I serve you today? That is more than enough that I need to be able to give you what is yours. And so I think that by asking these questions, we can also stop wasting time and stop walking around, and acting like we're just so busy to be bothered. We're too busy, we're too booked, we're too all these things, which is pride. But let's really get to the meat of what it is that we're doing and why it is that we're here. Like, let's cut out the fluff and let's get to it. All right. So that's what we can be thinking about as we're going throughout today. That is it. As always, I want to leave you with the encouragement of Isaiah 60, verse 22. Which says, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in its time. And the reason why I believe, or what I'm feeling today, is that, I think, or I feel like for the person who is, or for the CEO, for the entrepreneur who you feel like you're trying everything that you can to get the business to grow, you feel like you're not at the place where you want the business to be. And you may never be at that place. You may be grossing millions of dollars in revenue every year, and you still may never feel like you have reached the place or the goal that you are desiring. But we can have hope and encouragement in God's word, which says, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time. And so I pray that this encourages you today. I pray that this gives you something that you can digest and kind of chew on today as you're going throughout your work. And that is it. Until day 28, I pray that the Lord blesses you and keeps you, and that you do all the things that he's called you to do. And that is it. By God's grace, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and have a great day.